You are listening to I Am Refocused Radio with your host, Shamaya Reed. This show is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. And now, here's your host, Shamaya Reed.
Hey, welcome to I Am Refocused Radio, man. We are here once again, and today, man, I'm telling you, today is special because we get to talk to someone that I really look up to, man, Daymond John. He doesn't need introduction, but just in case you sleep underneath the rock, he is the founder, CEO of Fubu. He is a legend in himself. He has an amazing podcast that you can hear. It is That Moment with Daymond John. You recently talked to JB Smooth. I thought that episode was very encouraging and inspirational. So first, how you doing this morning, man?
I am great, man. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the great intro. I'm glad you loved or you found it interesting, JB Smooth, because I found it interesting too. I'm going down a journey with all these people on this podcast called That Moment. So thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. And man, yeah, I love that episode, how he talked about relationships and planting seeds and just building every chapter in his life. And also the interview you did with Ice-T, learning a little bit about him and his wife, Coco. That was awesome, too. What's some of the things that you're learning with these amazing stories?
I mean, so much. I mean, when you talk to Ice, you're always going to get a lot of in-depth understanding of it. I loved, what he said about his contract with Warner and how it played out. I loved his the way that he was able to transition from the streets, but take some of those concepts of the street and share it. And I love the fact of him being vulnerable, and as much of a, gangster as we think he is or whatever, showing the aspect of somebody who grew as a father, grew as a husband, grew as somebody who, represented a bigger, brand, a network, so he's a true inspiration, JB Smooth, I mean, think about how it is to be a comedian and all that in that moment that he got onto Curb and stuff like that. So I'm having a ball with this thing. I think I'm the biggest fan of it because I'm learning myself. I'm going kind of down this rabbit hole and path with these amazing individuals that we all know.
And you as a legendary entrepreneur, you know your share of battles and when life happens and you just keep pressing forward and pushing yourself. What's some of the life lessons that you learned personally that helped you to stay encouraged and motivated?
Yeah, don't do things for other people's reasoning. Do it really because you want to do it. You're into it for whatever reason. Constantly reassess and take inventory of the people around you. What you have in your control, whether it's time, health, energy, lack of health, and start to see where you need to improve. Fail and fail fast. Fail as many times as you can, and fail fast though, and fail small. Don't try to wait and think that somehow it's going to be perfect. Just fail and get over it. Life is really 2 steps forward, 1 step back. These are communication. Communication is key. Communicating with yourself or communicating with your partners, whether it is your husband, your wife, your children. We have a lot of these challenges because people fail to communicate. And even though we're more attached than ever before with all these emails and everything else, people hide behind them and the true intent often is not there, or they assume and they don't ask the true intent. So those are a couple of things that I've learned.
One thing I really loved about the interview with the one you recently had with JB Smooth was just being your authentic self, being who you are. Like he was saying, when he's in meetings or if he's on the stage, he's always JB. He's himself. You, with your experience being the founder and CEO of Fubu, you had your challenges. But what's a moment that you remember where you just stay true to who you are?
The times when the big department stores said take the hang tag of 4 African-American men off of the clothing because it looks like a gang and, we don't want those type of people in the store because they're going to have shootouts or shoplift, which I've never seen anybody have a shootout because you got a pair of 34s that I like and I got a pair of 34s over here, with 32s and I want that pair, so I'm going to shoot you. So I said no, and we stayed with our stores in the local community, the mom and pop shops that are the backbone of this country. And what happened with those big department stores is they turned around and they saw the store that was in the hood had one store, 3 years ago. Now they got 20 stores because people were buying the Fubus and the Carl Kanais and all that. And then they were like, oh, I'm sorry, that's a misunderstanding. You can, of course, put as many pictures as you want on the product. And, that was a misunderstanding to them, but not to us. And we grew the business through the businesses that supported us, and we wanted to support them.
Man, once again, true honor this morning talking to the one and only Daymond John of Shark Tank and the host of podcast That Moment with Daymond John. Man, first and foremost, man, I want to say thank you for your time, man. For our listeners, someone who can have a boost of encouragement, what would be the last thing you would say to our listeners for those who are aspiring to be as successful as someone like yourself?
The only things that you can control is really how you look at things and the action that you take. If you're really into something and you think it's going to make sense, don't throw a lot of money at it. Most of the things that have been created started with a person with an idea that did some homework and found a bunch of people to gather around them. Same thing with me at Fubu. I started with $40, right? And just take affordable steps. That's what it is. Everybody tell you need money to make money. You don't need money to make money, because that's why 65% of Forbes' top wealthiest people in the world are self-made men and women. You just got to put in the homework, build that community, make those mistakes. But if you make mistakes on something that you absolutely love, you can recover from that because you wanted to share this information with somebody, or bake this cake for somebody, or sell them these type of Bombas socks so you can donate some to the homeless shelter. So it's just really about taking affordable steps. And then most importantly, out of all of it, learn how money works, because whether you're balancing a checkbook at home or running a Fortune 100 company, you're going to need to know how money works. And we weren't taught that in school when we were coming up.
Man, if you're listening right now and you want the ultimate resource of never told stories and valuable lessons, go over iHeartRadio right now and listen to Daymond John and his amazing podcast, That Moment with Daymond John. Thank you for your time, sir. You have a great one.
Thank you.